So you're trying to land a job in cybersecurity. You know it's super competitive, right? Well, what if I told you we're about to break down the 5 exact skills hiring managers are actually looking for? This comes straight from a recruiter's inside knowledge. So let's just dive right in.
Okay, so let's start with a big, frustrating question, right? Why is it that so many people study for months, they get all the certifications, and they still get rejected? It's maddening. But the answer, well, it usually boils down to this one simple but really crucial disconnect.
And this is where our source for today's explainer, a career coach and recruiter named Luke Goff, just puts it so plainly. He says, look, most people are focusing on the wrong things. They're learning all these complicated tools they're never even going to use. Meanwhile, the people who actually get hired, they're laser focused on just a handful of core skills. So let's break down exactly what those skills are.
All right, part 1, we're going to start with the foundational technical skills. And I want to be clear here, we're not talking about super advanced expert level stuff. Nope, this is the non-negotiable foundation that, honestly, hiring managers are looking for right now.
Okay, skill number 1. This one is, well, it's just not optional anymore. It's a basic understanding of cloud security.
Now the key here, and this is really important, is that you do not need to be a cloud engineer. Think about it. Every single company, whether they're on AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, they're in the cloud. And guess what? Most security incidents these days involve stuff like misconfigured storage or weak access policies in the cloud. So if you can just show that you get the basics of, say, identity and access management, boom. You instantly stand out from the crowd. It just proves you understand how modern businesses actually operate. All right, skill number 2. This one tackles one of the absolute biggest gaps recruiters see: understanding SIEMs and logs. A SIEM, that's S-I-E-M, stands for Security Information and Event Management. Basically, it's a tool that pulls in all sorts of security data and helps you analyze it. And knowing how to actually read what it's telling you, that's critical.
Way too many beginners will list a tool like Splunk on their resume, but then they get into the interview and they just freeze up. And this right here shows you exactly why. The weak candidate gives a really vague answer, but the strong candidate, even if they've only spent a few hours practicing in a lab, they can confidently walk you through the exact steps. They just sound like they've actually done the work. And believe me, that's what gets you to the next round.
Okay, so that leads us perfectly into part 2, because now we're going to shift gears a little bit. We're moving away from just knowing specific tools to something that is, well, it's way more valuable. We're talking about how you think. And this is what really separates the good candidates from the truly great ones. And that brings us to skill number 3, which is called detection thinking. And again, you don't need to be some expert threat hunter here. It's really just about having a logical, structured thought process for what to do when an alert goes off.
And here's why this is so important. Look, a company can teach you their specific tools. They can teach you their procedures. Honestly, that's the easy part. What they can't teach you is how to think logically and analytically. That's something you have to bring to the table yourself.
Let's look at another really powerful example. Imagine a phishing alert comes in. The weak candidate just says, I'd investigate it. But the strong candidate, they have a plan. They're already thinking through the chain of events. Okay, what happened? What could happen next? What evidence do I need to look for? That kind of structured thinking, that is exactly what hiring managers are dying to see. And this is basically what that thought process looks like, broken down into 4 simple steps. First, you check the source, the sender, the domain. Then you check for an action. Did anyone click a link or download something? After that, you look for the impact. Check the browser history, see if there are any new logins. And finally, you check for escalation. Are those credentials being used anywhere else? It's a simple, repeatable process. And showing an interviewer you have a process like this, it's an absolute game changer. All right, let's move on to skill number 4. And I know this is the one that makes a lot of people a little nervous, but I promise it really shouldn't. We're talking about a basic understanding of scripting. Okay, let me be absolutely crystal clear on this, and this comes straight from the recruiter. You do not need to know how to code to get into cybersecurity. I'm going to say it again. You are not expected to be a software developer. Period. So you're probably asking, what does basic understanding actually mean then? Well, it just means you can look at a simple Python or PowerShell script and kind of figure out what it's trying to do. It means you're comfortable enough to run a few basic commands, or maybe, just maybe, tweak a script that someone else already wrote. See, security teams use these little scripts for automation all the time, and just showing that you're not afraid of them, it proves you're a problem solver who can grow into the role.
And that brings us to our final section. And honestly, this skill might be the most underrated, but also the most powerful career accelerator of them all.
Okay,
The fifth and final skill, communication and documentation. I know, people always call this a soft skill, but let me tell you, in the world of security, it is a hardcore, critical, operational requirement.
Because being in security isn't just about staring at alerts on a screen all day. It's a people job. You're going to have to explain really complex technical problems to managers who, they have no idea what a SIM even is. You got to write clean, clear incident reports that anyone can understand. You have to document every step you take so the next person on shift knows exactly what you did. This is the daily reality of the job.
And this right here, this is the bottom line. The recruiter couldn't be more clear about this. He says if you have two candidates with the exact same technical knowledge, the one who communicates better gets the job. Always. It's the ultimate tiebreaker, every single time.
So there you have it. Those are the 5 skills. The big question now is, how do you actually put it all together? So let's map out a quick path to getting you hired. And the key is, it's not about mastering everything at once. It's about having a smart, focused strategy.
And here's the best part. Every single one of these 5 skills is completely learnable. You don't need a 4-year degree for this. All you need is a little bit of focus and some consistent practice.
So, here's your action plan. It's simple. Don't try to boil the ocean. Just pick one skill to start with. Maybe it's cloud basics, or maybe you find some sim labs online. Build a tiny project around it, practice for just an hour or 2 a week, and then get ready to talk about what you did in your interviews. That's it. That's the exact strategy that's getting people hired right now. So, as we wrap this up, think about it. You literally have the blueprint now. You know exactly what hiring managers are looking for. So the only question left is for you. Which one of these 5 skills are you going to start building today?